I'm going to start with our Rose Mist again by Nini Organics. And split up and allow that to land. I'm going to gently press that in. And then taking my gua sha and starting from behind the ear and gently gliding all the way down to the collarbone and just wiggling the tool at the bottom. And taking one mushroom and then the other and just starting with gentle circles again over the master. Working in towards the chin and then back out. And then coming to do circles under the eyes. And coming down the neck and onto the chest. It's a really beautiful, could be used morning or night. And really nice and brightening. I'm just going to hover that over the face. It's got a beautiful scent. And then landing again on the temples and working that in. Beautiful. Okay, amazing, Melissa. So today we're going to do a gua sha lift facial. And this is a really beautiful grounding treatment. So we start with double cleanse just to remove anything from today. And then we will gently exfoliate and then go straight into the massage over the chest and neck. And just opening everything up so we can drain down. And then we'll go into the facial massage where we're warming up each individual muscle group. And then we'll use the gua sha to lift and drain, starting from the neck and working all the way up the face. I think that sounds like an excellent plan for today.
Thank you.
I'm going to start with Halo by Nini Organics. And this is a really beautiful oil cleanser. And it has blue tansy and passion fruit as the scent. You could take a deep breath in for me and then out. I'm just going to hold here on the temples and start by working down onto the neck and then up the face. And just gliding along the jaw, either side of the lips, and then up onto the forehead. Making sure I work around the nose. And then using just the tips of my fingers to really work the product into the skin. And circling on the jaw, and just using this as an opportunity to see if I can feel any tension. And then I'm going to take that off with my first set of mitts. And then just letting the warmth of the mitts hover. And then lifting up from the neck, under the jaw, and working up the face. For my second cleanse, I'm going to use the Utopia again by Nini Organics. And this is just a really gentle cream cleanser that focuses on barrier repair. And it smells like vanilla with a cacao base in there. I find that so many cleansers are really stripping and we just over cleanse our skin. Strip back that natural protection that's inbuilt. So I really love working with products that help to nourish and support that healthy skin barrier. Your skin's looking really nice at the moment.
Well, thank you.
And then just cooling down another set of mitts to remove that. When it gets to the last appointment of the day, they're really toasty. They've been in there for quite a while.
It's lovely though.
I know.
It starts to make me really sleepy.
Especially in winter, it's really nice to feel the warmth.
How many pairs of mitts do you have to put in? There must be so many in there.
So I call it mitt maths. And I look at how many appointments I have in a day, and then I add up how much each type of treatment needs. And then from there work out how many I need. But yeah, I mean, probably I make like 30 mitts in the morning.
Wow. It's something you never think about.
There's like a step in the day. Yeah.
That's so cool.
It would be really fun to film like a set the studio up with me or something like that.
Oh my days, that'd be
Because that
amazing.
could be really, really fun.
Yeah, I would so watch.
Okay.
I mean, I have been watching your stuff. But...
Oh, that's so nice. Thank you. It's been so fun to make. And yeah, no, thank you for inspiring me. I'd literally never heard of ASMR before you booked it.
And you're so naturally like good at explaining what you're doing, and I think the atmosphere here is always really relaxing in person, and that really comes across. And it's really exciting to see you doing your own ones as well. So
thank you. No, it's so fun. I think we were talking about it before, but like because I teach, it's like I was watching students like falling asleep while I was like teaching them, and I was like, maybe that's something. But no, it is really fun. You'll have to come on mine soon. Yes, that would be cute.
I'd love to visit.
That would be so fun. Amazing. So just opening up the chest and then using the shoulders to rotate all the way in and then pushing back out. And it's really nice just to spend like a little bit of time here just to make sure that everything's flowing and can drain down, but also can get really tense through the workday. It's an area that's very common for people to hold tension in. It's their shoulders and pectoral muscles. It's like hunch inwards, which I'm always doing just then. Good to catch yourself. And there we go, a really nice big pull along the back of the neck. And then circling behind the ears. And then doing peace fingers, working into the scalp. And then pressure points down that center part. Amazing. And then I'm going to take a little bit more oil and starting to work onto the face. So again, holding at temples and then gliding all the way down and scooping up the neck, along the jaw, and then up and over the forehead. And coming to land on the chest, and then starting from collarbone to behind the ears and stretching all the way up. And this muscle that we're working on is the sternocleidomastoid, and it sits like a band from the collarbone all the way to behind the ears. I can just apply quite a lot of pressure there and using my body weight to rock back as I pull. And then using that same move but now coming in front of the ears and lifting up towards myself and then in towards the chin. And then gently lifting all the way back out again. And stretching out with both hands and then letting one flow into the other. And rotating, coming into prayer, and then stretching back out. And just gently increasing the pressure, so using my knuckles to really work into the masseter. And the masseter's the muscle that holds so much tension from when we're chewing and talking or feeling stressed. And now working out along Rosorius. And then bringing that stretch up into a diagonal corner of the lips, up to temples. And then floating all the way down and opening the face. And this move can be really nice for any sinus congestion. And just helping all of that lymph to drain out towards the ears, and then it will then travel down the neck when we're using the gua sha. And just applying pressure and then rocking out and releasing. And then opening the face again. Coming to work around the eyes. Nice slow, light pressure on these circles. And then reversing. And lifting up. And then across the forehead all the way to the hairline. This is such a nice stretch, especially if you're as expressive with your eyebrows as I am. They get a good workout during the day. And then stretching all the way out and across the brows. Using my thumb just to lock myself in place, I'm going to stretch halfway and then the other half. And then stretching from the center of the brow all the way out. And I'm going to keep working up the forehead in the same way. And just to fully release that frontalis muscle. And then repeating the same on the other side, anchoring in, stretching half and then the other half. And then all the way out. Next, I'm going to stretch from my wrist all the way to fingertips. And then replace. And then slightly tilting my hands, working out towards the side. And then lifting up towards myself as well. Into prayer. And then opening up and down onto the chest. I'm going to gently stretch the neck and then lift and lower over to the left side. And just taking this opportunity to work a little bit more into the space from the shoulder all the way up to the ear. And then coming from the shoulder, and this time working in front of the ear and up onto the face. And spiral my hands, using one and then the other, and then working out along the jaw again. And then draining down the neck. And using just 2 fingers and paddling up towards myself. Creating that really nice stretch from the jawline up to the cheeks. And then creating a counter stretch again over the masseter. Holding tension and then releasing. Creating that tension and that stretch and releasing. Now stretching either side of the lips again, following Risorius all the way out towards the ears. And then scooping under the zygomatic arch and circling around with the other hand. And gentle stretch all the way up the face onto the forehead. And then taking my gua sha and starting from behind the ear and gently gliding all the way down to the collarbone and just wiggling the tool at the bottom. Again, draining down the neck. Taking the flat edge of my tool and working out along the jawline, all the way out towards the ears and following with my passive hand. And again, draining down. And following the same pattern I did with my massage, so lifting up towards myself. And then all the way out towards the ear. And draining down the neck. It can feel so nice after the heat we've created with the massage that the stone stays so nice and cool. And then using the biggest flat side to really scoop all the way up to temples. And then again, draining down the neck. And now I'm going to take the little point of my tool and I'm just going to hook that in again underneath the zygomatic arch. And just press and hold here and gradually moving out towards the ear. And draining down the neck once more. That same shape I'm going to use underneath the eye just to gently glide. As the skin around the eye is super thin, really delicate, so not applying much pressure at all, but still helping to drain, which will help any dark circles or puffiness. And then again, lifting up towards the hairline. Little wiggle in front of the ear and draining all the way down. And using that big curve and stretching up over the brow. And then in the opposite direction out towards the ears. And then again down the neck. And we're draining down towards the armpits and also the center of the chest, which is where our lymph nodes sit. And then again working out from the center of the chest, just gently gliding. Holding at the back of the head as we lift up and land. Working out from the center of the chest. And again, just really supporting the head as we lift and lower over to the right side. Again, using this time to stretch at this angle, pushing the shoulder away from the ears and then lifting up. And creating that push and pull and that counter stretch. And lifting all the way up onto the face. You think I need a tiny bit more oil just to make sure everything glides and nothing pulls or drags. And using both hands to spread that oil and then draining down the neck. Amazing. Coming up on that diagonal in front of the ear this time. One hand finishes and the neck starts. And then working out along the jawline with split fingers. And then again draining down. I'm going to use my 2 fingers to paddle up towards myself, stretching and releasing. And then again, that counter stretch, that push and pull over the master. And then again, lifting up towards myself. And we're going to stretch from the corner of the lips all the way out along Rosorius using that flat hand. And then scooping underneath the zygomatic arch and using one finger to complete that circle. Travelling down the bridge of the nose and then scooping back up and round. And then again stretching up and over the forehead. And reaching for my gua sha again on this side and then just draining down the neck all the way to the armpits. And nice long strokes all the way down the neck and then coming to below the chin, working out along the jaw. And again draining down the neck. And then using the flat side of my tool and lifting up towards myself. And gua sha, the pressure is always really nice and light. And we're gliding, not dragging. And then following with my flat hand all the way up to temples. And using as much surface area as I can to lift and drain. Again, using that little point of the tool and hooking up and underneath the zygomatic arch. And just using that point to hold those pressure points and then travel and release. And using that same curve but really light pressure underneath the eye. And just draining out into the hairline. And then up and over frontalis, pulling up towards myself. And then out towards the ears. Just doing a gentle wiggle and then draining down in front. Again, lifting up with the whole of the tool, and then the whole of my hand follows. And then draining down. Rotating on the shoulders and gently lifting the head back up and into center. And just placing my crystal mushrooms on either side. And again, stretching all the way up the face, coming into prayer on the forehead and draining down. And just adding a tiny bit more oil. Just for this last section. And finding that lift and stretch and that gentle opening of the face. Using those 1,000 hands. And taking one mushroom and then the other, and just starting with gentle circles again over the master. Working in towards the chin and then back out. And these again are really nice and cool. But when we get to the depths of winter, I like to pop them in the towel warmer and heat them up. Looking for really nice release, especially over the shoulders and down the neck. And gently sculpting underneath the cheekbones. And then coming to these circles under the eyes. Circling on the temples and then out across the brows. Again, circling on the temples and coming to alternate in a figure of 8 over the third eye. And this always sends me to sleep. Working out across frontalis. Using again that figure of 8 motion. And coming down the neck and onto the chest. And lifting up and off. Using the whole natural weight of my hand just for some last grounding movements. And then brushing off the center of the chest to aid with that lymphatic flow. Nice big stretch behind the neck and again circling behind the ears. Nice pressure into the scalp. And we forget all of our facial muscles continue back into the scalp, so it can be really beneficial to release those as well. And then applying pressure down the center part, before I take my last set of mitts to remove that oil. And just hovering over the face and then coming to land on the chest. And working down the arms and then up the neck. And then I'm going to flip over to my clean side, hovering over the face. I'm going to hold 1, 2, and 3. And then gentle gliding. And coming down the bridge of the nose and lifting up both sides. And there we go, and because it's evening I'm going to be using nighttime finishing products. So I'm going to start with a Rose Mist again by Nini Organics. And strip up and allow that to land. I'm going to gently press that in. And then just to stay on theme, I'm going to use the Nini Organics Gaia cream, which I think we used last time. It's a really beautiful, could be used morning or night. And really nice and brightening. And again, just nourishing that skin barrier. I'm going to hover that over the face. It's got a beautiful scent. And then landing again on the temples and working that in. And taking any excess down over the neck and then spreading that across the chest. And then for our final step, I'm going to take a Q-tip and some lip balm. And then just applying a little bit of lip balm. So I think this step can feel quite funny for clients because they're not sure what's happening. And then taking that over the top lip. Beautiful. And then just a couple of last breaths for me, Melissa. So one big inhale. And then release. Beautiful. That's us all done for this evening.
Thank you.
No, thank you.